What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden. This week, we've got another tournament game, but it's going to be kind of like a couple weeks ago when I recorded another game that was going on, and I'm just going to be commentating over the game as they go. So, on the left, we have Rene. He's playing a musicians and with kind of like a Noah splash and then like a kind of a crimson orange defense. And on the right is Emmanuel. He's got a Daniel deck. As you can see, they're going through star abilities right now. So Emmanuel is using Stone Cut without hands. He gets to look at his bottom six and top deck a good Daniel card. Rene, actually, Stone Cut without hands might just be any Daniel card. I have to remember. Yeah, it's just any Daniel card. Rene used Betrayal, the star ability, to tap deck a an artifact from reserve, I believe. Yep. I can't remember which one he top decked. Hope maybe you guys saw it. I wasn't paying attention because I was talking to you. So they both have one lost soul. Rene starting out with a Distressed, and Emmanuel with a Meek Daniel soul. And Emmanuel is going to go first here. So basically, this is the third round from the April online tournament. I have already played both Rene and Emmanuel. I did win both of those games, so right now they're playing for second place. I have the bye right now, which is why I'm not playing. So Emmanuel put down Majestic Heavens, and he put his Meek Soul in there and top decked a Hopper Lost Soul for Nebuchadnezzar is coming down for Emmanuel. He's playing Large Tree, which is kind of a Daniel tech card. I'm not sure if Emmanuel had it in his like original builds or whatever, but I know See the Tree or Chad, he's been on the channel a few times. He had it in his Daniel deck that he posted on the boards, and it's a pretty neat little combo because you can search for Lion's Den, which is also it's a Daniel site. He can also search for his Majestic Heavens, which he probably would have done if he didn't already have it, because Majestic Heavens is not a Daniel card, so getting it out of the deck would be better for Foretelling Angel. But yeah, it's kind of a nice little niche card that he can put he can, I guess, grab off the top with Foretelling Angel and get some more value with it. So then Lion's Den lets him take a Persian from reserve, so he's taking his Persian Horseman. He's attacking with Gabriel. So Gabriel lets him search Rene's deck for an evil enhancement and discard it. Not like a super strong ability, just because it doesn't have any like immediate effects, but it kind of sets things up later. So like if you take out like Scattered or something, then you can kind of be more confident when you're attacking with your banning chains later on. As we're kind of fanning through Rene's deck, you can kind of see what he's got going on there. If you kind of splash things in with the musicians, which is kind of a cool little tech that he's been doing. So it looks like, let's see, yeah, Emmanuel's taking Seized by Babylon. Rene might have Scattered in his hand already, or actually he might not be using Scattered, I think, because I think he's running Colosseum with his Noah, so he probably doesn't have it for yeah, that reason. So we'll see what he's got as far as blocks right away. Yeah, so Gabriel, like, it's not a super strong card in general, but in the Daniel deck, since he's a Daniel hero, it fits pretty well. Just gotta remember, so the Warriors version of Gabriel lets you discard any enhancement, but it is Luke, I believe, instead of Daniel. So the King's version is Daniel. Rene is blocking with Nebuchadnezzar, which gets stifled by Gabriel because he is a Daniel hero, so he does not get to search. But he is a 6/8 against Emmanuel's 10/10, so he would have initiative, except it looks like Emmanuel is taking dominant initiative here to play Angel of the Lord and discard Nebuchadnezzar. So that's probably okay for Rene, because Nebuchadnezzar wasn't going to be doing a whole lot for him for the remainder of the game. So, yeah, Rene is just putting on the Lost Soul token that he should have created with Majestic Heavens earlier. Then I think they might have forgotten about that, so he probably should have given him the Lost Soul token. But, I mean, on the other hand, if he can get rid of the Lost Soul token, then he doesn't put it back into his deck to redraw, whereas Distressed would obviously go back in if he used like Sheol or something to underdeck it. So that's an argument for not giving the token away. It's like Rene's got a couple fortresses here, a storehouse, Colosseum, and now putting down Prophets of Gibeath to play Reverence and Awe, can take a multicolor site or a good fortress from his deck. I'm gonna guess like maybe Noah's Ark is probably a good choice here. He could go, if he has like Majestic Heavens or something, to try to generate another Lost Soul, but his heroes will have access to Majestic Heavens anyway, so yeah, he does end up going for Noah's Ark, Ark of Salvation, to protect heroes in his territory from harm, which is good, especially once he gets Music Leader out to protect him from stuff like Flying Scroll and Remnant and anything else that, like board wipes or something that hit heroes in territory. So the Ark is coming down. This is going to be an interesting matchup, I think, because I mean, on the one hand, like Foretelling Angel doesn't like draw or search, so when he uses it to take a Daniel card, then it doesn't trigger Music Leader. So, and that's kind of his main value engine. So he might be able to get away with not searching very much, and not triggering Music Leader very much. But he also, with stuff like, I think Abednego top decks a Daniel card from your reserve, so that's a search ability. We'll see how that works out. Looks like Rene is going in with Woman with Child to search for Angel of the Lord. So I think Emmanuel is probably just going to make him play it. By going for Persian Horseman. He gets to draw 2, and then take a brown enhancement from his reserve. Takes Destroying Bands. It's kind of an interesting enhancement to see. I don't think it's like super popular, or it's not like super good, but I think it fits well on his deck because he gets both brown and crimson. So Rene actually, he commits pretty heavily here by playing his 3 woes already to negate Persian Horseman. He maybe didn't need to do that, but it does give Emmanuel 3 cards, or make him put 3 cards back that he just had got. So it does slow him down a little bit, maybe worth it. So yeah, looks like Rene passed the turn, and Emmanuel draws. So in Emmanuel's upkeep, or I guess in his draw phase, so even before his upkeep. Alright, so yeah, looks like Emmanuel's at 6 cards, so his whole hand gets shuffled. Rene was at 3 cards, so he gets a net plus 3 cards, which is pretty nice, especially because he has a chance to generate a Lost Soul here. Downside is that basically, I mean, we know that the cards that Emmanuel had before didn't get him to Foretelling Angel, So here he drew 3 cards in his draw phase. So he had basically 3 chances to get a card that could fetch Foretelling Angel. Whereas now when he draws 6, he'll have 6 chances to get something to get Foretelling Angel out. So it might have been better to wait until like Emmanuel's discard phase or something to play Mayhem. But I mean, we'll I guess see if Emmanuel was able to get some stuff here. It looks like Emmanuel didn't draw any Lost Souls except for his Hopper, which he just put in with Majestic Heavens. And then Rene drew a Humble and a Remnant. He's using Remnant to take Emmanuel's Gabriel, which could actually be pretty bad for Emmanuel if he has cards like Wheel Within a Wheel and Daniel's Prayer, that kind of stuff, to get Foretelling Angel, but doesn't have another hero to play them on. Taking Emmanuel's Gabriel could actually be pretty bad there. Well, alright, looks like he's got Daniel's Guardian, so. So he gets to, he prevents protectability as an evil cards, and then he gets to go swap with Daniel in his deck. Guessing he's either going to look at Rene's hand or ban to his Gabriel. Alright, yeah, he does ban to Gabriel. He would be able to look at Rene's hand if he wanted to, because Daniel does negate fortresses, so it'd get around Storehouse. But no, he can use Gabriel's discard ability because Storehouse is negated to take out an evil enhancement instead. So it's like he's got Blindness as an option, Lurking and Dream, both options. Betrayal must have ended up back in Rene's hand. Can't remember what else he had in there. Wouldn't be surprised if Blasphemies was in the deck. That might be in his hand too then. But yeah, he does end up going for the Dream, slow Rene down a little bit, and I think that's probably the right choice here. Ooh. Is that, yep, so with Mayhem, wow. So Rene must have drawn Foreign Wives off of Mayhem, which, yeah, that'd be, that worked out pretty well. So yeah, because Emmanuel drew 9 cards, so 3 off of his draw, and then 6 off of Mayhem, and Foreign Wives is protected from opponents, cannot be negated. So, still 1-1, and Rene is on the play. Oh, alright, so Music Leader came out. Either drew it with Mayhem or on his draw 3. That's a little bit of bad news for Emmanuel, I think, because he still has to be able to search for Foretelling Angel. But I think Rene's deck does kind of rely on playing good enhancements in territory with stuff like Consider the Lilies and Fifth Seal and Joy, Love Righteousness, all those that kind of stuff. So Darius' Decree is might be able to put in some work here, at least to slow Rene down a little bit. And he also has to figure out how to generate a Lost Soul too. Rene was playing Betrayal, and he was thinking about underdecking Gabriel, probably just to slow Emmanuel down from discarding his cards. But since Gabriel is actually in Rene's territory right now, he was protected from harm by his own Noah's Ark, so he couldn't underdeck him. So he goes for Daniel instead, which honestly I feel like is probably better. since Daniel is his way to ban to Gabriel. Oh, okay, so oh, that's an interesting play. So yeah, Rene is going out with Noah, and he converts him to Meek and shuffles a non-human, or basically a card except a human, which he decides to do Gabriel. And because they're both good, or the same alignment, harm is only protection from evil cards and neutral, or opponent's neutral cards. So he can use his good Noah to shuffle his good Gabriel. It's not considered harm. Yeah, so it looks like Rene did forget to use his woes in his storehouse and his upkeep here. But, I mean, I don't know if there was a whole lot he could have done to, um, like, generate a lost soul or anything like that, so um, maybe not the worst. Unless he's got something to grab with storehouse that could do it, but my guess is most things that would generate a lost soul, any, like, good OT enhancements he could grab with storehouse, would not be able to generate a lost soul, especially if with Darius's decree active. So, alright, so Emmanuel apparently drew Gabriel back and is attacking with Servants by the River. But yep, this time Storehouse is not negated by Daniel, so Gabriel cannot search and uh, discard a card from his deck. So let's see if Rene has enough um, to get around the big numbers that Emmanuel's got. Even if he has like King of Tyrus or Red Dragon or something, those would probably be good enough. But um, so Rene blocks with Judean Mediums and bans to Red Dragon. I don't since um, since Emmanuel did not search this turn, since the deck was protected from Gabriel, then Judean Mediums did not make anything cannot be negated. So I don't think it was right for Rene to block with Judean Mediums there. I think he might have been better off with just blocking with Red Dragon, saving Judean Mediums for when it would actually be cannot be negated. But it actually kind of works there because then Emmanuel plays red or three woes to negate Judean Mediums, which kicks Red Dragon out and helps him to win the battle. I don't think that. I mean, I sorted out that Rene had any enhancements left to play on Red Dragon. Maybe. I mean, if he did have Blasphemies, then he would be able to do that. But if he had just blocked with Red Dragon, then he would have had that option. Because Emmanuel would have had to negate Red Dragon with three woes instead of Judean Mediums. So now Rene's turn. He drew three lost souls. He had a Darkness, an Exiles, and a Hunter. Darkness doesn't do anything because he has lost or evil characters out. Looks like he's going with Exiles to grab Fall of Man from his reserve. And then Hunter. Yeah, I don't think it's really worth using Hunter in this situation because he's already got his Exiles and Remnant out. I'm not sure what his 7th Lost Soul is. It's like, I mean, getting Distressed and Humble would definitely be good. But if his 7th Lost Soul is in when drawn, or if put in, or I guess yeah, just if drawn, still if put in territory would work, but. So I think that this is probably a mistake here. Rene is using Hunter to go to Emmanuel's deck, which you can do, but the Lost Soul still goes to your territory. So basically you're just thinning out the Lost Souls from their deck, which is not something you really want to be doing when you're being soul droughted, and especially against a Daniel deck where your options are going to be pretty slim anyway. Or a Daniel deck like this where he's running all Meek Lost Souls and then the Covenant Breakers, which is Daniel. So he does take Covenant Breakers, which is okay. I mean, that'll slow Emmanuel down a little bit, or he won't get the top deck from his reserve, but which I guess is okay because Rene wouldn't want Emmanuel to top deck anything that's not a Lost Soul. So Rene does get to top deck a star card from his reserve if he would like with the Covenant Breakers. But yeah, I think that was probably not worth it, taking a Lost Soul out of Emmanuel's deck unless he's got a plan for generating more Lost Souls. I mean, if he had kind of some like more valuable Lost Souls in his deck and there was something that Rene wanted to get, then maybe it would have been okay, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. Looks like Eyes to See is the card that Rene puts on top. This is kind of a little fun one. You can look at his opponent's hand. So in his upkeep, he's doing his triggers. So he's using Storehouse to grab Solomon's Dream from his reserve. He is playing on Noah. His 3 woes target must have been Darius's Decree, so that he could play Solomon's Dream. Curious what he goes for here. I mean, I think if he can't generate a Lost Soul, then he's safe to be able to, I think, attack with Woman with Child and just get his dominance ready for when Lost Souls do come out. But yeah, it is kind of tough to know what would be best here unless he has some soul gen card. Good soul generation cards in white. Yes, Naaman Servant Girl is an option. Actually, not a whole lot. You kind of might have to run stuff like Majestic Heavens and Hopper, or like the defensive ones like Malachite Slave or something. That would probably be decent in Rene's deck because it would let him get to his Judean mediums. And also Foreign Wives would be kind of another option if he does that Mayhem play more often. It allows him to be more likely to hit Foreign Wives with having all 3 Deceiver, Malachite Slave, and Foreign Wives. So yeah, Rene decides to go for Second Coming, which either means that he already has Son of God or he's planning to attack with Woman with Child and searching for Son of God with her. Because if you do search for Son of God with Woman with Child, she cannot be interrupted, so that's a little bit better of a play. Alright, so Rene puts down 2 artifacts, activates one of them, being Book of the Law, to bounce his Noah. Makes sense. And then, Woman with Child comes out for the battle challenge to go find a Son of God. Alright, Emmanuel declines to block. And And Emmanuel, or Rene just passes. We'll see if Emmanuel draws any lost souls here, who does have one. So now the question is whether, I mean, I think Rene hangs on to his Son of God and Second Coming for now. I think usually that's the case. I mean, if your opponent knows that you have them in your hand, then they're a little more at risk. But since Rene has Storehouse out, he can kind of, he's a little bit safe for now at least. So I think Emmanuel's trying to decide on star abilities and or maybe his 3 woes. Yep, so he's negating Book of the Law with 3 woes, which is, it's not the best target, but actually kind of helps him when, if Rene attacks with Noah next turn. He allows him to block from hand. So, looks like, alright, so, yeah, it looks like Eternal Judgment, yeah, so he didn't realize he didn't have a white or green hero in play, so he is playing it as evil. If he had put down his Shadrach first, he could have done it. I think, that would have been something he just didn't notice, I guess, but not usually a big deal, but in a tournament game, things like that, I think it's obviously up to the opponent whether they want to allow that or, I don't know. That's probably something that I would be fine with. Especially, I mean, like, as long as we notice, like, right after the fact. But I think I would also probably hold myself to the same standard that Emmanuel did here, that he didn't, or he was just like, oh, I already played it, so I'll play it as evil. So he's making the attack again with Servants by the River and Gabriel. So he must have some sort of negate in his hand for Red Dragon. Alright, so Rene grabs the Deceiver, goes to his reserve for Necromancer. So you can discard the bottom card of Emmanuel's deck, and then he gets to banish an evil character from his reserve or his discard pile to copy its ability. So he's banishing his Judean mediums. Red Dragon into battle again, I presume. But here, I don't think Emmanuel has used the draw or search ability again, has he? So maybe he's just wanting to get more numbers into battle. Then Red Dragon allows him to ban to a Revelation evil character, so he's negate a good or neutral card and search for a fortress. So he negates Servants by the River to kick out Gabriel, and then looks like he's not searching. So he's using Faith Unbowed in battle to interrupt the battle and withdraw all evil characters. So he interrupts Red Dragon's Ignore, and then withdraws all evil characters. Nice. Okay, so yep, Rene did get his blindness that he's thinking about playing. Yeah. So yep, blindness comes down to negate all other enhancements, but Emmanuel can use Eternal Judgment to negate and discard blindness, and because Eternal Judgment cannot be negated since it was used by a Daniel character, then he gets to, or it's not negated by blindness. So Eternal Judgment goes to Rene's hand, and then blindness would be discarded, and Rene is back in special initiative. The Eternal Judgment is one of the ones that is not specific to like the opposite alignment of how it was played. So it's just basically like whichever one you have characters for, you can play it as, or whichever one you think your opponent will be less likely to be able to target. Or yourself, I guess, if you're holding like Chronicles of the Kings. That could have been dangerous in this situation if, say, Emmanuel had Chronicles of the Kings and he wanted to use it to negate blindness or something else. It would also hit his Eternal Judgment because he played it as evil. So yeah, they were wondering if you could play Eternal Judgment in Special Initiative, which you can't because it places in territory first before being able to negate. So you have to have something that actually interrupts the battle or negates something. Technically blindness should be in Rene's discard pile now, and then he would be in Special Initiative. I don't think it really matters at this point, but he does play Lurking to interrupt the battle, and then he can choose to ban to an evil character from his, I think, hand, territory, or reserve, or set-aside area. So yeah, if he, whoever he bans to would have to negate Faith Unbound. Otherwise, that character that they banned in would also be withdrawn, or that he bans in. Interestingly, like Faith Unbound, banishing it is good here because, well, unless he has a way to get it back, because it does make it not targetable with something like Chronicles of the Kings. But the Protect is negated by Colosseum right now. So here, if Rene did have Christian Martyr, he would actually be able to use it. Because the Protect on Faith Unbowed was negated. Alright, so yep, looks like Emmanuel gets the Lost Soul, and he's now up to 3. Rene is still at 1. So Covet was the last Lost Soul in Rene's deck, which is actually a pretty good one for him to draw here because this one is a little better than Hunter, in which it actually gives or generates a Lost Soul when it takes one. So is he not using Covet though? I'm not sure why he didn't use Covet. Is it negated by something? I don't think so. I mean, it's not like he wasn't trying to use the search ability because, like, he used Storehouse to take Royal Parade. So now he's playing Eyes to See to look at Emmanuel's hand. He's got pretty small hand: Winged Lion, Head of Gold, Watcher, and Great Image. So nothing really to interrupt or anything, so he's going to get initiative, but he will have to probably toss something against Nebuchadnezzar. So ICC gets top deck because he used it on Prophets of Gibeath, which is an Old Testament prophet. And see what he decides to do here. He did use Woes on Majestic Heavens, not that I think that really made too much of a difference, but there wasn't really anything else for him to negate. Kind of made the most sense. So yeah, it looks like René is playing Eternal Judgment, which is technically, or it was in his hand, he's playing it as evil. And then he's attacking with Noah and shuffling Gabriel back into Emmanuel's deck, which, I don't know, at this point I wouldn't be too worried about Gabriel. Like, I don't think shuffling cards back into Emmanuel's deck is really worthwhile at this point, because that just puts more cards potentially between Emmanuel and Lost Souls. I think maybe shuffling his own 3 Woes might have been a good option there, because right now it's not really doing anything as good, and it kind of gives him the option to use it in battle again. He can search for it with Woman's Child. So Nebuchadnezzar comes in. I think doesn't look like they've been keeping track of the size that he should be, because large tree increases him 1/1 each turn. I think it's been like 4 turns or something like that, so he should be pretty big. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty sure it's been 3 turns, so he's gonna... that sounds about right. So, yep, René's got Royal Parade off of Noah is a pretty strong play because it cannot be prevented, and then it makes it hard to negate because Noah prevents cards. René or Emmanuel didn't have a negate anyway. I think he might have been better off not banding with Nebuchadnezzar, since he was big and would have made Emmanuel or René use something else, or like to toss something else. But I suppose if he had something else to toss, then he might have just gotten bigger numbers than Nebuchadnezzar. Maybe. I mean, he would have had to have something kind of big. See, Nebuchadnezzar is 11-10, so he would have been 14-13 with large tree. So René would have had to toss something of at least, I think, like, what, 3 in order to be beating him by the numbers. So depending on what René had, maybe I guess that was the right choice. So Emmanuel's turn, he's going now. Looks like he's actually starting to get set up here. Got his, activated his Darius' Decree and got his Angelic Guidance. René's hand is protected at Storehouse, so he didn't get to look. But he is searching for Foretelling Angel, and René is responding with a Music Leader search to his deck, which makes sense. Comment with David, and what else? Emmanuel put down Foretelling Angel, and then Belshazzar's Mother is the top card, which I believe is a Daniel card. René accidentally was taking Consider the Lilies with Music Leader, but it does not involve music, so he's grabbing Covenant with David and something else, probably like Love Righteousness, if he doesn't already have it, or just one of his other heroes, one of his other musicians. Alright, yeah, so he's grabbing Kenaniah. Ooh, I just had an idea for René's deck. We've been kind of talking about it a little bit. I think if you put David Outcast Refuge in there, he would be able to get Jehoshaphat. He could put Jehoshaphat in his reserve, I don't know why I'm telling all of you guys this, but maybe just so I remember, and in case Renee watches the video later, now you know. Um, so if you can search for David with music leader because he's a musician, and then David and Outcast Refuge allows you to ban to Jehoshaphat from reserve. That would be an easier way to get him out, so you can bounce your Noah, and then get your banding like that. And then he's also another target for Joshua the Conqueror, who we saw and was in Renee's deck earlier. Um, so anyway, Emmanuel, he took Belshazzar's mother. It looks like Son of God is on the top here, so we'll see if he has a way to draw here, because then he's got potential to win if he can rescue the Lost Soul and then also be able to play Son of God. But it doesn't look like he has his Meshach, which means he would have to search for it and shuffle, which would not be quite as good. And Meshach is the one who lets him draw one, I think. Yeah. Right? I could be wrong. Whichever one. I think he might be trying to figure out if it's worth attacking or not, because he doesn't want to shuffle with Son of God, and getting through Red Dragon I think might be a little tough for Daniel decks. So Emmanuel just decides to pass, keeps Son of God on top, and I mean maybe he has Second Coming in his hand, so he's just kind of waiting for the turn, but he also knows that René has Son of God and Second Coming in his hand, so if by some miracle or whatever he's able to generate 3 Lost Souls, then he could win, but doesn't seem likely. René uses Storehouse to grab his I Am Creator from reserve. Not going to do too much here, but it is a possible target for something like 24 Elders or Uzzah, and he is using 3 woes, I guess, to negate Darius's decree, and then playing Covenant with David to play Ends of the Earth from his deck, which is nice because he'll be able to potentially generate a Lost Soul there. But unfortunately, Ends of the Earth doesn't underdeck the cards like most cards that reveal the top do, so Son of God is going to stay on top. So he's playing Eyes to See again to look at Emmanuel's hand. He does have a better initiative character this time, so we'll see if we'll see if René will be able to get around the Conjurers here, who gets initiative. The tricky part is, so if he does have Jehoshaphat or some other way to bounce Noah, since his Book of the Law is currently negated, then if he's preventing cards, it would prevent Ends of the Earth. So that would be a little risky. Or he's got to figure out some other way to attack so that he can use Ends of the Earth as well. You might have Esther. It could work. So he's putting down Hope and taking Joy from his reserve. Yeah. So Book of the Law is still negated by woes, which is something they were making sure. So yeah, Noah can't be balanced, which is better for René because I think he might do it anyway. So he's bouncing Noah, and he can ban to a musician. So he's banning to Kenaniah, who protects, which is negated because of Colosseum. And he's banning 2 Prophets of Gibeath, who will be able to ban to Noah. Being able to shuffle a card here, though, is actually good because that gets Son of God off the top. And she can shuffle Foretelling Angel. Emmanuel did realize... yeah, you're good. Emmanuel did realize that Noah was preventing Ends of the Earth, so... Looks like you need to just decline the battle challenge. Alright, Chris is coming in to give the little 10-minute warning here. And looks like Emmanuel is just kind of waiting here. I mean, so now hopefully René will be able to use ends and maybe be able to hit a lost soul. But I think Emmanuel is just kind of trying to keep the game going here because he's kind of in a good spot with no souls and just waiting to draw his dominance. He might have one of them already. He might just have Second Coming and then be waiting on the Son of God that we saw get shuffled from the top of his deck. So, I don't know. Overall, I think actually using Noah was probably the right play last turn because Son of God, he did see Son of God on top and he could shuffle his Foretelling Angel. So even though it did stop him from being able to use Ends of the Earth and generate a lost soul and potentially even rescue a lost soul, it kind of slowed down Emmanuel's value engine and also shuffled his Son of God. And actually, now that I mention it, I'm pretty sure Emmanuel is using New Jerusalem, not Second Coming, if I remember from our game correctly. Which I guess now we'll find out. Okay, so looks like Emmanuel does have New Jerusalem. Led Astray is going to be a decent blocker, especially since René has Emmanuel's 1 special ability Lost Soul. It looks like Emmanuel's kind of just hanging on to the same, or he's got like the same defense here. But now René has Esther and Joy, so as long as he has some battle winners to back her up, then going in with that, with Ends of the Earth, is probably more likely to hit something. Well, I mean, obviously more likely than going in with Noah, who is preventing cards. Alright. Yep, now René is going out with Esther and with Joy on honor to make her cannot be negated, and then Ends of the Earth revealing the top 7. So, looks like there is a lost soul in there. And then, basically either Daniel's Prayer or Wheel Within a Wheel. Kind of the 2 cards that would allow him to get Foretelling Angel. Daniel's Prayer is maybe the better one to give him because it only searches and doesn't place, so doesn't have the protection, but he's probably going to draw a Wheel Within a Wheel next turn anyway, so maybe, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so it gives him Wheel. Yep, Esther is 10-3, protecting Lost Souls and Heroes from evil cards. So he's going to Nebuchadnezzar and choosing to ban. He's just going the big numbers route, which is a little dangerous here. I think Nebuchadnezzar does have negated in the special ability, so Esther will get to trigger and discard an evil human, which will either be probably Nebuchadnezzar or Conjurers. But he does ban to Winged Lion and Conjurers. Conjurers takes Lurking from his reserve. And yeah, it looks like because of the search of Conjurers, Rene is triggering his music leader, taking Royal Parade and Love Righteousness from discard pile, and so he's discarding Nebuchadnezzar with Esther, and oh, interesting. Okay, so Rene is deciding to play Grapes of Wrath to discard one of Emmanuel's evil characters. And so Rene will be able to begin a new battle because he is currently behind. I believe Grapes only shuffles characters, so yeah, I don't think Ends of the Earth should have been shuffled, but I'm gonna probably I shouldn't be like intervening if I notice things unless they ask questions is kind of the general thought. I'll just kind of let that one go as long as, or since neither of them noticed and asked questions. Just because, like in a tournament, that's usually how it would go. You don't really have like a judge like overseeing the game. So so Joshua goes out for the second rescue. Underdecks Darius' Decree. Exchanges to Jehoshaphat, bans to Kenaniah, bans to Prophets, and banning to Noah again to prevent cards. So, I suppose with Grapes, Rene was able to get a little more value as far as like getting rid of another evil character and a couple more cards in Manuel's territory. So like shuffling or underdecking his Darius' Decree and then shuffling one of the angels he's trying to decide here, I think. No, he's choosing Majestic Heavens. And so he does get a little more shuffle value from it, although that does put more cards between Emmanuel and Lost Souls, so a little risky, especially since he just shuffled his Majestic Heavens accidentally. But I don't think Emmanuel has an answer for this, and I think Rene might have just been worried that Lurking would find Emmanuel an answer, but I don't know. I think it probably would have been better, or he probably would have been better off waiting for Emmanuel to play some stuff before Grapes, since Esther was protected and his heroes in territory were protected by Noah's Ark. Oh. So we also saw that Emmanuel has Let It Stray in his hand. So Esther would no longer be protecting heroes, so Led Astray would work. So it's a new, because it's a new battle phase, he also can't play New Jerusalem to copy Rene's grapes. Why didn't he play Led Astray there? That I'm not sure about. Unless he was thinking that the heroes were still protected somehow. Alright, so since Emmanuel started, they're going to do one more round since Rene just got to the end of his turn. Which is maybe not great for Emmanuel here because he drew another Lost Soul. And it allows Rene to get to 4 for sure. So Emmanuel is trying to decide if he wants to play New Jerusalem to copy. Technically, since it is Emmanuel's turn, he could have played New Jerusalem after Rene's Son of God before Rene had the opportunity to play the Second Coming. But, I mean, if he doesn't have any ways to draw anyway, then it won't make a huge difference, so you can just copy Rene's Second Coming and then search his deck for Son of God. And then, yeah, Rene is using his music leader to search his deck for Hate Wickedness. Looks like that's the only target, or he's only getting 1. So, I mean, yeah, I guess the thing with if Emmanuel had drawn anyway, then he might have drawn a Lost Soul, and then Rene would just be able to win outright. So now his option, or his best option was just to get the rescue when he could there with Son of God, and then hope that he can get through Rene's defense with his attack here. Because if he doesn't, then Rene is going to have a chance to generate another Lost Soul and swing back if he does find his Ends of the Earth. So, yeah, Emmanuel gets to add Michael to his hand because it's a Daniel card. Now Lions is on top. It's also a Daniel card, so he's taking that. And now Majestic Heavens is on top. It was actually kind of an interesting play for Rene to shuffle Majestic Heavens because it is a non-Daniel card, so it kind of slows down Foretelling Angel. But he is playing, he can now play Fifth Seal to shuffle his top card, so he's searching for Love Righteousness, which presumably he's going to be playing after seeing if he gets some more Daniel cards off the top. We got a Banquet on top. I'm assuming he's going to be taking that if he can get his hand down. Fiery Furnace, Gabriel, wow, Babylonian Soldiers. He's really, it's up to 14 cards, now 13, 12. Takes the Babylonian Soldiers, goes to 13. Wow, he's getting a lot here. I mean, I guess that's to be expected when most of his deck is Daniel, so it's up to 15 cards. Now he's got a Lost Soul on top. Now, if Rene could make Emmanuel draw a card somehow, that would be funny. But I don't think there's anything you could do like on your opponent's turn, unless it's like a Vain Vision or something. That would be kind of clever because you can put the Lost Souls. So it looks like René is using or using Emmanuel's Eternal Judgment to so the shuffle would still technically happen, even if it was negated. So the Lost Soul shouldn't necessarily be on top still. I'll maybe mention that after the game, or I guess, I mean, no. Maybe they'll watch the video. You should watch, you know. It's exciting. Even though they're a part of the game, but... So, looks like Emmanuel now has Daniel's Prayer, which I guess, yeah, we saw pretty much, or that he would have drawn it with Ends of the Earth, so he's failing the search with Daniel's Prayer, which is fine. Or like to be expected, I guess. He's got, I think, all of his Daniel Angels there, and Daniel's Guardian is in his discard pile, but he just wanted to shuffle his deck to get a non-lost soul on top and basically increase his odds of being able to make a rescue here. We'll see if he can maybe find a way to get around Red Dragon, I think is going to be kind of the big issue, but he doesn't ignore Angels with Michael in play, so that, I guess, will actually not be quite as bad. Oh, so Emmanuel did get a Abednego, which I believe lets him underdeck his top card and top deck a Daniel card, so that'll let him underdeck the Lost Soul. And now he's going out with his this big chain here. So he's underdecking Lost Soul, and top decking a Daniel card, or Daniel enhancement. No, it is just card, yeah. So cast into the Lion's Den. Ooh, that'll be good because it's regardless of protection, and I think it just captures any evil character. Yeah, capture a character in battle, so, and it's regardless of protection, so it gets around Foreign Wives. Not that I think Emmanuel has drawn more than 5, but he does put in Servants by the River and Michael. So now his Daniel heroes are protected from lone evil characters, so he still would be able to ban with Red Dragon and or he could ban to Abaddon if he has like a something he could play there. But they're also protected from, I think, discard with Shadrach. Something like a Fearfulness would be nice. Oh, I guess that would get tossed by Colosseum. Or no, Colosseum is negated. Not that Fearfulness would be in Rene's deck with Colosseum in it anyway, but, you know, that would be good. Things to consider, you know. Probably not worth putting in. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, getting those Gabriel attacks in early in the game, I think, probably helped Emmanuel to really thin out Rene's defense, limit his options now. Although some of the cards he hit, like, I mean, Dream wouldn't really be that helpful right now. So Rene is blocking with Red Dragon, banding to Abaddon, who will just negate Lion's Den. Not really any other useful targets here. But so Red Dragon is protected from the humans, but does not ignore angels because Michael is in play. I'm not sure if that's or what they determined was correct. I don't remember exactly how protection works with multiple characters in battle. They determined that it was Emmanuel's initiative, which is it's up to them to figure that out unless they ask about it directly. So cast into the Lion's Den. He's playing to capture Red Dragon, and it's regardless of protection because it's used by a Daniel hero, or I think it's used by Daniel or a. No, it is just a Daniel hero or Persian. So yeah, so captured non-humans cannot be redeemed here, so so Rene can't play Son of God on his Red Dragon. Alright, so that was going to be it for Rene's block, and that puts Emmanuel at 5, so that was a very close game. Emmanuel kind of having to wait a few turns with some soul drought and being able to kind of finally get together his big banding chain combo there. And he took the win 5-4, so really close game. That was pretty cool. I think if Rene, I don't know, maybe no, it's hard to say because if Rene didn't attack with Noah that one time and was able to use Ends of the Earth, and if he did hit a Lost Soul, then might have been able to rescue that one. But then Emmanuel would have had, or most likely had a Son of God, and probably would have gotten there first. So I don't know, really hard to say, but really good game, and glad you guys were able to watch it and I was able to record it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.